ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a new series. This is going to be our reviews of the One Piece live action TV show. Myself, Jazz, and Verson will be here week in and week out reviewing the One Piece live action. Now, I know all the episodes are out, and everybody's like, oh, are y'all doing a full review? No. We're going to break it up in pieces so you get more content, but more deep dives inside of said episodes. So each week until we finish, we're doing 2 episodes of review. So right now you're getting Romance Dawn and The Man in the Straw Hat. Next week you will get, or well, I guess since this is Sunday, probably next weekend you'll get Tell No Tales and The Pirates Are Coming. Again, the week after that, you'll get Edith the Baratier and The Chef and the Chore Boy. And then finally, you get the girl with the sawfish tattoo and Worst in the East. I actually like the name The Girl with the Sawfish Tattoo because that's a play on the girl with the dragon tattoo, which is a cute reference. Yep. So joining us as always, we got our 2 guys. Let's introduce them. Jazz, how you doing, brother?
I am doing great. An amazing week for content. You know what I'm saying? We talked about it. On the review, but we got JJK, the manga, you know what I'm saying? We got One Piece, the anime, the live action. It's just a beautiful
It's a crazy time. It's a crazy time. Verson, how you doing, my brother?
I'm doing good. Had a good little farmer's market yesterday. Got a little bit of money. And
also you're a new co-host. You gotta because the episode dropped this week.
Yes, Manga May is doing good. I've appeared a little bit here and there with my brother, but now we're just going to do the damn thing.
Yeah, you're the official co-host.
Yep, keeping it all in the family. You know how it is. But we'll get the extended family because
I'm glad it's you though. TBH,
gotta get you on there.
Oh, yeah. Of course. I mean, we're all part of the network. But I mean, like when he was going to choose, I told him he had like it's his choice. It's his show. Like I'm just a producer and like the person who does this, but. In the back of my head, I was like, man, I want him to choose Verson. Like that, I didn't want to like lead him anyway, because that, like I said, I want it to be Jay's show. Jay has great thoughts when it comes to manga, and he has an idea of how he wants his show. And as someone who, eventually wants this network to give other people shows, I don't want to be the type of the micromanaging executive. I want it to be you can come to Bros Who Think to have creative freedom. But in the back of my mind, I do have ideas of how I want things to go, and I'm glad he chose you because I feel like y'all both have different thoughts in how manga works, and I think both thoughts are needed inside of the discussion.
Yeah, I agree. Also, I mean, not to toot our own horn or whatever, but I mean, it's organic. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like I got
brothers.
I got 27 years, of experience on dealing with my brother and vice versa. And I will also say on top of that, outside of the anime realm and the manga realm, guys, video games are also killing it this year. And also we got Fiona Cake that just dropped. And
man,
I love Adventure Time.
Now see that I'm excited for.
Yeah.
I am very excited for. But I haven't played a video game outside of NBA 2K. And like I literally downloaded Shadows of Mordor earlier this week, and I played it for a little bit. I was like, because I beat it when it came out. I was like, man, this is fun. I wish they had more games like this. There's not many games like the ones, the Arkham style, the Spider-Man, Shadows of Mordor, God of War. Those have become my thing. I play those fighting games. And recently, because of Jay telling me to play Hades back when it came out, I play those. I play those little side scroller, old school, but it has to be a good one. Like Streets of Rage 2 is incredible. Scott Pilgrim is incredible.
Love Streets of Rage and Scott Pilgrim.
Bro, I didn't know you played Streets of Rage, Jazz. That shit is my jam. Streets of Rage
I used to play it back in high school.
Oh, the new one. They had an updated version and they added like a couple new characters. There's a Samoan guy who has like mechanical arms. They have this black girl who has a guitar and like controls like electricity. There's her father who used to be a cop but now is like a vigilante who shoots out like green energy when he punches and shit. And then there's the OG, like the man and the woman. So but I love that game. And then Scott Pilgrim, the anime is about to come out. We'll probably us 3 will review that as well, because that we're seeming like the review boys, so that'll probably be us doing that.
Can't wait.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm rereading right now.
I'm literally playing the game. That's the only game I play at nights besides 2K, besides Shadow Mortal, which that I'm going through the story. And I was like, man, this game's actually harder than I thought it was. Like Hades was relatively easy for me, even though the purpose of the game is you continue. The more you beat it, the harder it gets. You never really beat it, but in Streets of Rage, I've beaten on every mode, but man, I gotta say, Scott Pilgrim's a hard game. Like, I'm still on like level 3, and I was like, damn, this is pretty tough, but I'm excited. I like that they brought the entire cast back. So to Verson's point, it is a good time for media, and we will review that. But we're here for the One Piece live action. We have the first 2 episodes, Romance Dawn and The Man in the Straw Hat. So for manga fans, basically this is the introduction of Zoro and Axe Hand Morgan, all of that in episode 1. And then the next one is the introduction of Buggy and basically what happens with Buggy in that original arc. So, all right. Well, yeah, Verson, what would you start us off? What was your initial thoughts of the series as a whole? Because I got to make an apology before we jump into it.
So the series as a whole so far,
but don't go past what we told.
I know. I'm giving a disclaimer, and don't worry, I'm girding my loins. Like, I'm kind of helping guide the conversation, but don't worry, I ain't dropping nothing. I will say, so far, and to clarify, I am a little bit ahead of you guys.
Yeah, he's the only one of us who's watched past. You're up to episode 5, right?
Yeah, and I only did it because of very specific viewing.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
Yes.
I absolutely intended for us to do the review 1 and 2, but then it got delayed by like 2 days, and I was like, well, shit. Warner wants to watch more One Piece. I guess I have to.
You got it. Yeah, no, I get it. I get it.
Or these Twitter folks spoil me, you know, and I still got a little spoiled. But you know, but yeah, you know, so far everything's met my expectations. I told my mom, as I told you guys yesterday, I told my mom, look, I've told you vaguely about One Piece, how much I love it, how much it means to me. They got this live action. I'd like to show it to you because my mom's not anti-cartoons or whatever, but you know, she's older. Yeah, you know, like at some point it's and also it's a big fucking beast. Like, you know,
1,000 episodes gets people like my girlfriend was like 1,000 episodes. You know, like I got her to watch Star Wars. Like we've been doing that. She just watched Rogue One, so tonight is A New Hope, and we're going through. I did it chronologically: 1, 2, 3, Rogue One, 4, 5, 6, the new ones, and then we'll do the TV shows if she likes it. But she does like it, so we're gonna do that. But I was like, hey, are we gonna do One Piece now? And she was like, the anime has 1,000 some episodes. I was like, well, come on, we could slow burn it. And then the live action dropped, and her friend was like, hey, I started watching it because her friend has a nerdy boyfriend too, quote unquote, even though I don't think we're nerdy, but that's besides the point. Her friend has a guy who a boyfriend who watches anime and whatnot, and her friend ended up started the One Piece series because of it. She was like, are you going to watch the One Piece series with Lennon? She was like, what are you talking about? I'm not watching that 1,000 episodes. She was like, oh, no, it's a live action. And she came home. She was like, why didn't you tell me there was a live action? I was like, I didn't know if it was good, first of all, and I wasn't going to let you watch something that's not good. And I just watched the first episode literally last night, so we can, if you want, I like it now, so we can watch it. And she was like, yeah, we'll watch it. So I get what you're saying for sure.
Yeah.
1,000 episodes is a lot.
Also, yeah, even if I wanted her, just like, you know, whenever I introduce someone to it, I want us to get at least out of the East Blue. And that's still a commitment. It's not 1,000 episodes, obviously, but that's still a big commitment. You know, that's a lot of hours of content. And also, we know that the anime pacing's a little there. And I'm not going to convince I'm going to read long because obviously not.
Yeah, the anime pacing just got good. Wano is the only one, the only arc I can say where the anime pacing is good.
Kind of decent.
Yeah, and like even the beginning of Wano, the anime pacing was like, bruh, why are we just sitting here watching these sumos talk for a fucking episode? Like, can we get to the fucking meat and potatoes?
Hey, but you got to Batman though, who's solo Luffy.
So man, fucking! I'm not calling him Batman. He is Batman bad. He is man bad.
But anyway,
point not being, giving him the title of my goat.
I can watch it with my mom on like a nice little long weekend, and that's all I ever wanted out of it.
Hell yeah!
So you know, like I can show her because, like I said, dude, I'm for real about the shit. I might be getting ready to get like a One Piece tattoo. You know what I'm saying? Like
I thought about it. I'm not gonna lie. I thought about it.
So I'm assuming all of us explain it to her. You know,
I'm assuming all of us have thought about that. What would you get?
I already know the one I'm gonna get.
Oh, well, okay. Well, what would you get?
It's gonna be you know how Gear 5 he was like bouncing. And he was like this, and he was just like cooling. I want that on my arm. This is like nice little subtle thing, though. You know,
I like that. Versus, what would you get?
I think I kind of want to get like a stylized like map of the world a little bit, like as a shoulder piece, like you know, because the thing about One Piece is there's so much things you can stylize to look like cool as fuck and not look just like a graphic tattoo. You know, like a graphic tee. What would you get, Len?
I want to get Law's Jolly Rod.
Nice.
I
So yeah,
want
but
Yeah,
my
that's a
point
good one.
is, if I
Claw's
get
my
that,
favorite character, and I wouldn't get it on my arm or anything. I would get it on my back, like right here,
Mhm.
or on my chest. I've been asking people how bad it hurts, so I can determine where I'm going to get it. But it won't be too big. It'll be that right next to a BWT, and those are the only tattoos I'm willing to get for my life, unless Curse and I get married and we both get our names. I'm okay with doing that, but my thing is, first we got to get married, and two, you got to get my name too. So we both. That might be selfish, but
no, I
if
get it.
if we
Yeah,
locked
that's
in, we
mutual.
locked in.
Yeah, because then if anything ever happens, then you both got to get the
we
cover
both,
on
yeah,
them.
exactly, fucking exactly.
Yep.
So like that. We almost did it on when we went to Vegas. We almost got an L on my ass. I mean, a K on my ass and an L on her ass. But we were like, let's wait till we get married. I was like, that's fine. I'm not tripping. That's fine.
Dude, if anything ever happens, Lynn's gonna be like, okay, cool. Just gonna turn this into Nico Robin real quick.
But I'm glad we're all getting that. Shows how much One Piece means to us. So before this discussion, just to let everyone know, I know we review the manga, but the fact that we would all get One Piece tattoos and all want One Piece tattoos and probably will all get them at some point shows how much this series means to us. So when we talk about this live action, know that we love this. Know that it means a lot to us. And if we shit on something, it's not because we're hating on it. It's because we care about this series so much. And with that being said, then we'll get to Jazz's thoughts. I have to apologize because I shit on this a lot before it came out. I shit on it a lot because of what we do in this podcasting world. It's about predictions, and it's about, what do you think will happen? And based on the track record with Netflix, I don't even want to say anime as a whole. Let's just say Netflix.
Yeah, for sure.
Death Note was horrible. Like, we can call a spade a spade. Death Note was horrible. And to me, I always said, why don't we do Cowboy Bebop? For American audiences, it's the easiest to adapt. Because you can't tell me Cowboy Bebop isn't just basically The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, Reservoir Dogs, and Blade Runner 2049.
We did it with Firefly.
Yeah, exactly. Even better. Thank you. Firefly. Like, we have seen Cowboy Bebop, and that's the most easy things for Americans to recognize. It's noir, it's a hitman, it's a Western. Easy for us to get. But they failed that, and they failed it miserably. And it wasn't just oh, y'all didn't tell the manga one for one. No. The choices you made were all horrible. And it just was a bad show. Like, forget the choices. The show didn't flow well. It was bad. So here, seeing both of that with just Netflix, and then thinking of the history of anime live action, I thought there was no way you could accomplish One Piece. I thought there was no way, because of how fantastical it is, the powers, the length of it. It would take a lot of money going into each episode for it to be successful. Well, we then found out it's getting as much money as Game of Thrones got each episode. And not Game of Thrones season 1, like Game of Thrones season 5. And if it does well, it'll end up getting to Game of Thrones season 8, which is a lot of fucking money. So they're putting the most any Netflix show got into it. So the CGI they're doing the best they can. So I hear that, I'm like, okay, maybe this is good. You see the cast, damn. The cast is pretty good. Okay, well, now they still got to execute. And I'm here to say, episode 1, I enjoyed the entire thing from start to finish. I was like, oh, man, they did it. And I tweeted, let me pull up my tweet, because I always say the apology has to be as loud as the disrespect. And the disrespect was fucking loud. So I tweeted, I got to apologize to the creators of the One Piece live action. I'm almost done with episode 1, and it's really fun. I'm loving it for real. Zoro, Nami, and Luffy are all amazing. And then I went on to say more and more, and which we'll get into now. But I need to say again to everyone who worked on this, I apologize. You all proved me wrong. You proved the anime community wrong. You proved the haters wrong. No matter what anyone says, if they're still hating, that's just them being haters. Because as someone who loves One Piece, I can say you executed it very well. Not just meh, not just good. No. You executed this very well. And in terms of my bros who binge mine as a TV critic, in terms of television, it's good television. So not only did you execute the anime manga part, but you executed the television part. So I just again want to say I'm sorry. Jazz, how do you feel about it? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, just one thing, and then I can just like 2 sentences, and then Jazz can kick it. Right now, it looks like it has surpassed every other premiere to the #1 in the world in different country status.
Beat Stranger Things, yeah.
Yeah, it's at like 84, 85 right now, maybe more, but like right now the data says 84, which beat Stranger Things and Wednesday. And the only reason why I bring that up is because whenever we were talking about it, we all had a weird feeling because of what Oda said, which was, I think this is One Piece's last shot of getting international acclaim. This is its last way to get like an entry point before the story's over. And everything else aside, whatever it says for us and whatever it says for the fans, obviously that matters. But I think that must be so heartening to Oda to see it and actually see it bang and be like, these are potential people who, like, you know,
because he wanted to reach other audiences. You got to think for something to pass Batman and fucking Superman and become it hasn't passed Superman quite yet, but it will by the time it will finishes. For something to pass Batman and Superman, which has been around since the fucking 30s, 40s, yeah, 30s for Superman, 40s for Batman, and they're the biggest superheroes of all time. I don't care what you say about Spider-Man, it is Batman and Superman, and they've had a magnitude of writers from the original creators to Frank Miller to Alan Morrison to Alan Moore to Grant Morrison to Jeff Johns to Mark Waid. The biggest comic creators in the freaking world have all written this, and one man has wrote One Piece, and he surpassed all of them. So I understand where he's coming from with international acclaim, but to me, I'm glad you went that way because I thought you were going to go a different way. But the fact that it did so well, we're going to get a season 2. Because we weren't going to get a season 2 unless people watched. And the fact that it showed, hey, people love this, it beat everything else. We're getting a season 2 guaranteed now, 100%. And we're going to get more money put into it because it's already made Netflix its money back. So that goes to show.
Yeah, we'll talk about some of that later because we already see a little bit of something whenever it comes to season 2 hooks. But anyway, Jazz, you were going to say?
Yeah, so
he going farther than we. I don't even know what he's talking about.
Yeah, I was like, I have no clue what he's talking about over here. I'm not sure, but yeah. So when I started watching it, you know, like kind of I was hopeful for this, but at the same time, I was keeping my expectations low. I kind of went into this like kind of the way I go into like albums that people hype up a lot, to where I'm like, I don't want other people's opinions and expectations to mess up like my experience, you feel me? So like I'm just gonna lower my expectations and go in, right? And so in the back of my mind, I was like, okay, I'm gonna look for things to like not like, because you know this is like a live action whatever. And the entire time for episode 1 for sure, I found myself like smiling and like laughing uncontrollably at scenes. Like there was some stuff I cringed at, but like it was like a laughing cringe to be like, oh, okay, that's corny, but that works for somebody who has never watched One Piece. I see how that can appeal to somebody who's never seen this. And I think that's the biggest thing that they nailed. Like sometimes I feel like manga and anime, since it comes from a region that's so opposite to ours, and a lot of like ways that like they eat, they view jokes and stuff like that, I feel like they did a really good job of conveying how these characters would work to where all audiences, especially like the Western audience,
gave a worldwide
like,
appeal.
Okay, like I see what's happening here. Like they don't I'm trying to think. It might come to my mind later, but I think like the opening sequence of this, they didn't go through Roger's whole speech. I don't think. I think they left some stuff out, but like you get the gist of like what's happening. They even show Shanks, they show Mihawk, and from what I figured out later, they even show Crocodile.
Look. One Piece fans, we got to get that theory confirmed because I know One Piece fans are going crazy about that. But we could definitely say they showed Shanks, Mihawk, and Dragon because they did show. Yeah. Cool. I'm not gonna get behind the crocodile thing until it's official. But if it is, that'd be crazy. But nonetheless,
they showed fucking Garp.
They did.
Yeah, like bro, they showed Garp. Like
they did,
and I like that they, because it's like we don't really get well. First of all, Garp was not present at Roger's execution in the anime or the manga.
Think so, yeah.
At this point. So
yeah, well, he had to be at least
he was at Marineford,
yeah, because he had to handle Shiki. Yeah, remember Shiki was gonna bust him out, and he was like, "We sent that fucker to Logtown. We stayed behind me and Sengoku."
They made it more, to Jazz's point. They made it more to where it was worldwide recognizable by diving more into the actual pirate aspect. I can say before we dive in, they made it feel more piratey than the manga feels, and maybe that's just my perspective of how I read it. But they definitely made this feel more so like Pirates of the Caribbean, or what people think of traditional pirates, so more people can get into it. And then slowly, as the episodes continued, it got more and more One Piece-y. And it was less and less what you think of traditional
and I feel like the one thing, like the people who are doing like the designs, like the people who are the stylists for everything, the way that Garp looks, the way that Roger looks,
they only had one miss, in my opinion.
Like, yeah, I like all, because like we kind of like, obviously recency bias, and we view these characters as like more clean because, you know, it's manga, they're drawn or animated, like they're animated, but it's like
they dirty as hell.
Real life Roger would look like a dirty nigga. Like,
yeah, that's especially, and he was sick too.
And he was locked up for several hours before that.
Exactly.
But see, the thing about that scene, and I think we can expound about the scene a little bit more because it means so fucking much. In the manga, the Roger scene is literally just a framing device that we get real quick because it's not about Roger, it's about him starting it. And, you know, Roger doesn't start being a character till way fucking later, whenever we actually get flashbacks of him being alive. Right. You know, but they made Roger a character in this very scene because they used the most that they could. You get body acting, you get him actually kind of like laughing and grinning. You can tell him and Garp have a rapport already.
And for live action, you have to do that so it makes people want to be like, oh, why is this guy important? If they just did it the anime way or the manga way, I don't know if people, and when I say people, I'm saying Western audiences, I don't know if Western audiences would have cared about or understood how important that guy was, because Western audiences are the type of people, you got to foreshadow shit right when they start watching. Like that, I'm sad that that's what we've gotten to, but that's where we're at in the West, nonetheless. And to Versa's point, they made him as fleshed out of a character as you can make before you start revealing shit.
Yeah, and also, like, you know, he's not like a superhero. He looks just kind of like a washed up. He's a normal ass human. You know, like, you know, he's not like superhero. Like, he's not fighting back or whatever, or like trying to like bust out his chains. No, and he even said, like, whenever him and his Garp had the exchange, he's like, yeah, no, this is like according to my plan, but not in a super villain way, but in a like, yeah, I'm at the end of my rope.
Yeah,
I you got me a crowd. I'm gonna say my shit, and then I'm done. You know, he dies. People,
and they did the smile
people
thing.
Have died. Yeah, and
I'll save that. We'll do that when we go in.
Yeah, you know, and he did die, and it was good because, you know, I think that's another thing that's going to change slightly with the live action is people who should die. I think because we're a little bit more loosey goosey with it, are going to logically die.
Yeah, they can't do. Yeah, that's some of the things that they'll have to change. But all right, so those are our opening thoughts. Let's go into episode 1. We'll go episode by episode. This is episode 1. Romance Dawn. I will read the synopsis really quickly. I don't know why my Netflix cut off for a second. Hold on, give me 1 second. Here we go. All right, episode 1, Romance Dawn. Here we go. Okay. All right, boom. Stranded on a sinking boat, carefree, Luffy begins his journey in search of the Pirate King's lost treasure. But first, he'll need a crew, a ship, and a map. This basically went over the Alvida to Kobe, and then Kobe to getting to Axeham Morgan, and then the entire situation with Axeham Morgan. And we'll go one by one and just say things that we thought were pros, and then we'll do cons. And then basically we'll do this like the run it back of the Bros Who Binge reviews. We'll go pros, cons, and then talk about who won the episode, who lost the episode, who do you think was an underrated character in the episode. We'll do best scene. We'll also do best fight if you have one, and then those will be our categories. So let's start off with the pros. One pro for me was, and at first I didn't know if I would like Luffy, but I like Inoki's style of, and that's the actor, his choices of how to make Luffy carefree and an idiot, but also making him smart and making him appealing to the audience. Because there was one scene in particular when he's talking to Kobe about Alvida holding him captive. We see how important freedom is to Luffy, and that's a thing from the manga that is very important. And I think the actor conveyed, no. You have to make your own choice to follow your dream. And he conveyed that very well to Kobe. And I thought every time Luffy was talking about freedom and following your dreams in episode 1, great moment, huge pro for me. Jazz, with your pro, and then we'll go Versa, and we'll just keep it going.
So a very, very big pro for me is that they found the perfect person to play Kobe Like,
yeah.
This person, I'm not gonna get their name wrong. Morgan Davies. They played Kobe very well, and like, you know, there's later scenes like where you kind of get like the dorkiness and the kind of like very anxious, you know, like parts of Kobe. But I feel like with Inyaki's performance and Kobe, that kind of all culminating at the end of the Alvida, at the end of like the whole Alvida exchange was really good, because, you know, this is like the part like where you know, everything's not 1-to-1, but I like that they have this conversation, because in the manga and anime, Luffy busts out of the barrel first, but like this one seems like a lot more intimate of a lot more intimate of a conversation that Kobe and Luffy are having before he ultimately, you know, meets Alvida, and then the plot progresses from that point. So
facts, I agree with you. Versus, what you got?
So I think a little bit of a mix of a pro, a little bit of a mix of a con. I want to remind everybody, you know, at the very like kind of like start of like our episode review, we went from 10 episodes, which is going to be 10 to do 100 chapters, down to 8, and that was to put more money into the 8. So there are some scenes that we had that they just took out, and we know because of casting and different stills we've seen, there are some things that we saw in promotional material that have just gotten taken out, not because they intended to. However, and also because there are some things that I think they were hyping up that Oda was later like, okay, we want to make some adjustments. Because I saw an interview where someone asked a question and they were like, yeah, we had the scene one way, Oda wanted a different way. We went all the way back to Cape Town, we reshot it, and it came out better. So what I'm going to use that example of is whenever we see Alvida and we get a very powerful thing from her, even though she's a big character, I think the actress did really, really well with it. We get an explanation for why she attacked that ship, and she was like, hey, Pirate Hunter Zoro's on that ship. I want to get him before he gets me because I'm the best bitch on the sea. I know he's coming after me. And they're like, he's like in a completely different island. He hopped off like 2 stops ago. And she was like, sounds like Cap, but okay. Anyway, I'm taking you all as a prisoner now. You know, like, but like a little bit where already we're saying like Zoro stuff, you know, and we meet him pretty quickly after that. But like I think they were really smart with their different dialogue. I think they immediately started like, you know, putting down roots everywhere. I think that's going to be very good for the longevity of the show, because it gives people like little tiny baby taste of what it's like to be a One Piece fan, which is a thing that is mentioned and then isn't paid off for a very, very long time. I do think we'll get more payoffs quicker in this medium. And I think we're going to get some characters who are important later. They will be more important at the forefront than they would be. But I think that's in service to the adaptation. And I think a lot of people who have somewhat complained about that on Twitter or just in general, I understand. As a true One Piece fan, I understand it. But again, an adaptation is doing what it is supposed to do, which is in some ways you condense, and in some ways you change things slightly to make it more appealing for people who just want to watch it totally clean.
Yeah.
And we're all looking at this with 1,000 chapters of hindsight on these intricate like character dynamics and stuff. But anyway.
And look, to that point, and then I'll get to my pro. Like, me personally, I can't go back and rewatch as a manga reader or reread the early stuff, but this had me enveloped the entire time because of what Verson saying. They changed it up and they made it more condensed and they made it more for that specific medium. So I'm glad that Oda was sitting right there. Okay, this, not okay, this. And that was the problem with Bebop. Watanabe, we find out after, even though they announced that Watanabe was going to be involved, he came out after it was over. It's like, no, I wasn't. So if y'all don't like this shit, I was not involved. They just had me check certain things, and Oda was involved from casting to scenes to direct, like the whole way through. So I think
they literally ducked Watanabe. Like they would say, all right, come to the studio.
And he would lie and he wouldn't be there. Yeah, no one would be there.
Everyone who had decision-making power, people who could actually do shit, they just weren't there that day. So Watanabe was just hanging out with people who were sympathetic to him, but it's like, okay, that's cool. I can't do anything though, because I'm not the guy.
That's so fucked, man. So, but okay, my pro, we've had Kobe, we have the show structure, and I did Luffy. My pro, my next one, and I'm not gonna get to who won the episode quite yet, but I gotta say this is a pro. Fucking Mac and You is a star. Mac and You is Zoro. It's the best character to me in the whole fucking first episode. That guy, the way he portrayed Zoro, he added a level of coolness that might not have been there before. He made him more than just, oh, I fight, I eat, I drink sake. No. He gave them, like, the moment, I think of the moment where he holds up his middle finger back to the guy, and he was just like, that was badass to Mr. Seven. He was like, what tattoo you gonna get? I'm gonna get this one. Like, the way he talked to Axe Hand Morgan, the way he took up for that girl, all of it was just beautiful. And it's Zoro there, but I think Mac and you elevated the character of Zoro and made him more than what even the manga had for him at first. And I love Mac and you, and I think he will be an American star after this. Like, dude's incredible.
I think he plays Zoro, and this is shout out to my brother Jay, over at Manga Melee. One thing that he has mentioned whenever it comes to Zoro, who is his fave, and he does love him, is like it was kind of weird how Zoro and all the other characters are almost bound to a certain age to be kind of similar, because Zoro and the life he's lived and the way that he especially acts later on, he's a little bit more seasoned, a little bit more spicy with it from being a bounty hunter for so long.
Yep.
It's really weird he is so young. Like, you can make him young without making him a literal teenager. And I think, like, the scene, especially whenever we're after the awesome fight and we're done with it, and he has just Mr. Seven in a fucking bag, throws it on a bar and is like, give me a drink for me and my friend. That's a motherfucking bounty hunter.
Yeah.
And he already has a claim.
Right,
Alvida's
exactly.
worried about him. Other people already know about him.
Buggy knows about him. Like,
recruit him.
Yeah, he's popular in the East Blue. I thought they executed that well. What's your pro, Jazz? What you got? And give us another one. Oh, did he freeze? Let's see if he's back. Oh no, there we go. Okay.
Hold on. Am I? I guess if we're on the if we're on
you
the
can choose anyone
talking about
any pro you want.
Nah, I'm gonna still go with Zoro. And again, one part where they deviate from the source material to do their own thing. They keep like the story elements in there, but they change some stuff around. So how Zoro gets tied up in the yard, I like that it wasn't I like that he wasn't already tied up in the yard.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, am I good?
Well, you were
crunchy.
Yeah, you were crunchy for a little bit. Now you're good.
So okay. But okay, so when they have the whole bar scene, right? And what leads up to like that confrontation with Helmeppo and with the like the little girl. It's kind of like up until that point we understand that Zoro's like this rugged like bounty hunter, and you kind of like get the impression that he's not a good guy. Like if you're just watching this raw and you don't know anything about the source material. But the bar scene and him just like protecting the girl from the Marines, as opposed to, her giving him food in the yard to like help him out during the, 30 days in the manga, I'm pretty sure he was in. So, that whole entire scene, the action like with how he, if I don't know if I'm going to say this correctly, but it's like the choreography with how he was fighting in the bar, and then you get him talking to Axe Hand and being cocky, like, well, if this is all your Marines are and you want me to be a part of it, I'm not doing that. The same way he was like, okay, y'all want me to join Baroque Works, but you send 7.
Yeah, that was a good moment.
But yeah, I'd say a definite pro. And look, if you don't look, if you are new to how we do One Piece, you know me. I'm not a big Zoro fan.
Not at all.
But this might make me one again. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Like I said, bro, Mac and you elevated my love of Zoro. Like, that dude is a star. All right, Verson, give us a pro.
Okay. So again, as part of the adaptation thing, I was watching with some other people, not just my partner, and then one of them was kind of like, I really liked how Zoro's intro was. I'm not really feeling this one as much. And I was like, yeah, but it's way more serviceable to our timing and to the episode pacing for Luffy and Nami to watch it live and in color, and for Luffy to kind of get a like for Zoro, instead of, okay, cool, we pull up Zoro, who's this dude? He's hanging like a cross or whatever. We get told, but not shown, which is a whole thing, show, not tell, but we get told that he's been there for 30 days or whatever, and that this thing happened. and like, yeah, like a couple things or whatever, but I think that transition was good, and we cut out a whole flashback we wouldn't otherwise need, you know, like, and I think that's going to follow the course with a lot of how this entire like show is going to go. Is it's going to be a lot of things that otherwise we weren't going to see. Luffy is now going to be there, you know, and he's going to see it, and he's going to be able to react to it. And I like that we got Nami early. I like that we got, like, Nami doing her bag of tricks early. You know what I mean? Like, I think that it's a much easier launch point. And like you guys had texted in the Discord, by the way, join the Discord. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, we're getting all this in episode 1. But it's not in a way that feels rushed. It's like, no, we're doing it now because we know we only have 8 episodes, so we're giving you a little bit of everything.
Yeah, no. It feels 100% like a TV show should, and that's why I said in my intro, it's like, oh no, from a manga perspective, I think they executed, but from a TV perspective, they definitely executed, because they have adaptations that take on too much sometimes doesn't work, and I think they handled the amount of chapters they got per episode very well. Now, my next pro, I gotta throw it to Nami, man, because to me, the introduction of Nami and the way that she fights, it did not make her seem weak. It made her seem strong. It made her seem like she was supposed to be in the crew, and might have did a better job than Oda did in the beginning with Nami. Like, we know Nami is this glass cannon character that, is kind of strong. This Nami beat a shit ton of Marines. This Nami was kicking ass. She's a bone staff user. That was amazing. And then it showed her mind with the way that she can navigate, the way that she's an actual cat burglar, helping steal and crack into that safe. I thought Nami's portrayal had to be 100% pro.
Yeah, it shows that Nami has, like, to use a D&D term, Nami has character levels coming into this. You know what I mean? They all do. If anything, from the first
Luffy
episode,
was the weakest.
He looks the most green. Which makes sense.
When we get to the cons, I'll talk about that, but that's a con for me. All right, go ahead, Jazz. What you got? Give us another pro.
Another pro. It's like I feel like we've said a lot of it.
If you don't have any more, that's fine.
But I can.
It's up to you. I have 2 more pros.
Well, it's a pro and it's a con, bro. Who greenlit that Helmeppo scene, bro?
Bro, how's it a pro? Like, you like seeing his?
No, it's like when people talk about Game of Thrones and how it had a budget of that, I didn't think like they'd actually take inspiration from Game of Thrones at the same time. But I was like, because I was watching and I had to like,
okay, had a little technical difficulties, but we back. All right, Jazz, give us another pro. We'll do 2 more rounds of pros, then the cons, and then get into the categories.
Again, another pro I have to give is to the character acting. I like how they really didn't make Axe-Hand Morgan that much of a dick in this adaptation. It seemed like he wasn't as much of a dick as he is in the manga. He still was, but he was like more so of a
they made him more
leader rather than an idiot.
They are setting up. What I'm saying? They are slow releasing. Oh, the government is bad. And if they would have did Axe-Hand Morgan as the ultimate dick, it would have sped it up fast. I think that's something that when the live action audiences finds out, oh wait, the government isn't good. These pirates are actually the good people. I think they're saving that for Alabasta. I think they want Alabasta to be the major reveal of, oh, Luffy helped this kingdom. These warlords work for the government. Wait, what's going on with the government? And then boom, we'll get the incident of Smoker having to take credit instead of giving Luffy the credit. And I think that'll show the live action. Wait. If we look all the way back to Axe-Hand Morgan, damn, this government has been fucked this whole time. All right, Versa, give us a pro.
On that point, I think they let the scenery do with the talking, because you don't see, you see that fucker's face literally everywhere.
Yeah, true. It shows he's very narcissistic, and like they did that with Garp. Like Garp didn't have to. Garp looked around. He was like, "Okay, noted."
Yeah, and also, I think it's a good contrast because we're slow walking the Marines a little bit, and then immediately the next episode we get, we don't get to like take a whole like tour of the town. And I think part of that is they're trying to do set design where if we have a set that benefits from a central location, like obviously this goes without saying, the Baratier, I'll let you guys know a little bit, maybe some other locations are a little bit more centralized. Like I think they try and play with it because they made this really big set and it's really good and they just want to throw it away. But like we see the town that Buggy took over, And all we have really to show the devastation is the one scene where the buggy ball has already dropped, and it looks like a fucking tidal wave hit it. I know whenever stills were happening, everyone thought, oh, this must have been Nami's island because we see Nami in the frame. We're like, oh, this must be after they do the house flip thing. No, that's a buggy bomb, baby. And, you know, I know we're still verging mostly on episode 1, but we're covering episode 2. Buggy and everything about Buggy is fucking choice. It's excellent. Big Buggy fan. Everyone is now a Buggy fan. You know,
yes.
It's great. You know,
we'll get into that in episode 2. I'll save my Buggy thoughts then. I guess another pro for me is Jazz talked about Axan Morgan, so I agree with that. But another pro in episode 1 was the way that the Shanks crew was introduced, and we get more of that in episode 2. But I think the way that we meet the red hair pirates is a 100% pro.
Yeah, I also the fact that we saw little Luffy do the eye stab thing, I think was a great tone setter. Dude, you know how nice it is to watch a One Piece property and see blood happen?
Yeah, I know, bro, and they had it a lot. Jazz, you have any more pros? And then we'll get Verson's final pro, and then we'll go into the cons. If you don't, we can just jump straight into the cons. Did you hear? I said you got any more pros? If not, it's okay.
Oh, no. I have one more. One more pro. I like that the whole Shanks and Luffy flashback isn't in one episode. Yep. I like that they break it up into parts. Like there's basically like a cause and effect. So something will happen to Luffy, and then boom, and the red-haired pirates. And I like that because it makes more of the connection, because you get at episode 1 that Kobe thinks all pirates are bad. Luffy's like, not the pirates I know, and then boom, flashback.
Yep.
And then like that starts to like be a theme that like it's not Luffy thinking about the whole flashback. Certain events that he goes through, and it happens more so often in episode 2. But it's like it's events that he goes through where he's thinking about the person that inspired him to be this pirate. But I think that was done really beautifully, and I think especially like if they go further, I think if they continue doing that as flashbacks, not having like holistic flashbacks, I feel like that could work very well.
Oh, we might as well, because I realize we're not doing 2 separate videos. Verse, you might as well give us your pros. Let's start pros for episode 2. We'll just continue onward.
Okay, my pros for episode 2 is I think this is such a good double pack. You know how like even in like whenever it comes to like TV nowadays, a lot of times they'll drop the 2 episodes the first night.
It was a good 2. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, like, and I'm going to say this because I watched again further. I'm not saying that was a good 2 and there's a drop off, but what I am saying is it was such a good 2. I almost wish that they had dropped to the 2 and then done it weekly, because I feel like, especially, you know, other reviewers and stuff, once you see it, it's part of the reason why I like how more organically you guys are doing it and making the grand sacrifice of not just binging it. I feel like this is going to be a show where you're going to have to rewatch a lot, because like the binging is so strong with it that I think a lot of individual episodes are kind of getting like lost in the wash a little bit. So anyway, but the pro is great 2 episodes, awesome. Makes me almost wish they were doing it like weekly, just so we could enjoy the episodes.
Yeah, that's what Jazz told me off air. He wishes we didn't get the binge. A pro for episode 2. Y'all talked about Buggy. I think Buggy. I am a Buggy fan now, I guess. Let's go, baby. I will say I like the actor's choice in his comedic ways he did things. I think he did an incredible job. I thought at first, oh no, he's trying to be the Joker when they introduced him and I was like, oh no, wait, they're showing that Buggy's not this menacing guy. He's kind of a joke. But at the same time, like Verson said, he Buggy bombed this entire town, and they have the entire town strapped and doing this laughing thing. I thought the way that they introduced Buggy the Clown was great. And I gotta say, the way they did Buggy's powers, I thought was a pro, because I was very worried about that. And I thought that they executed that, and might as well say powers in general, because Luffy's stretching. Look, I've seen Mr. Fantastic tried multiple times. I've seen the CW try multiple times for stretching. And the only stretching power that has worked was Groot, and Groot is a plant. But with humans, I've never seen it executed properly until One Piece, which is crazy.
Yeah, they didn't even try with Miss Marvel. They skipped it. She does something different.
She's Green Lantern now, essentially.
And that's fucking Marvel.
So if they can't execute it and Netflix execute it, I gotta say that's a major pro. All right, Jazz, give us another pro for us, brother. If he not frozen out of this piece, let's see. Oh, he back. There we go.
Bro, I'm back. I don't know what's going on, but you know what I'm saying? We here.
We here, baby. All right, what you got? Another pro for us.
We still in pro? Okay.
Oh, for episode 2.
If
you got episode 1, you
still
can
gonna go in, I'm still gonna go. Oh no. I still got episode 2s, bro. Like, so I like that they did the set change. I kind of when watching things and you're not having the 1-to-1, I am kind of disappointed that we don't get the story of Chow Chow. However, the set change to the circus. Yeah, we do get the dog. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, he's like there, but he's like at the end, which I'm cool with too.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the set change that the circus is built, and this is where the townspeople are, and the town is already destroyed outside. So then, the viewer starts to get that sense of like, oh, like we're seeing like a little bit more of like why Nami doesn't trust pirates all the way. Right, because I don't believe Orange Town was destroyed. It was taken over by Buggy, but it wasn't destroyed at that point because he was about to destroy it. If I'm remembering Orange Town correctly,
that was the Buggy Ball was the threat throughout that little.
Throughout the whole arc. Yep.
Right. So, but with already having the Buggy Ball destroy Orange Town and them being chained up, I feel. And this is like where the real life aspect starts to work a little bit more. Like, clowns are not viewed as like they're viewed as goofy, but like more people view them as like terrifying. And this is what the Buggy actor really conveyed for me, the terrifying aspect. When he had Luffy in the seawater chamber, I was like, this is what like a real life version of Buggy would do. Like, he was a lot more sadistic than the normal Buggy we know, and the way that they defeated him was kind of like the same way, kind of like in the same like wacky way, kind of going around his powers. But man, like, if that episode don't make you a Buggy fan, I don't know what will, man. I'm gonna be honest.
No, I mean, look, you good point. Verson, give us some more pros. What you got for us?
Jazz stepped on mine a little bit because I did want to show like the fact that the Luffy trap was the saltwater tank, and the fact that they go to show it is so much better than admittedly what the manga did with just having a normal jail cell, because we weren't doing sea prison stone yet. Like Buggy having a sea prison stone cage makes no sense for multiple reasons. We weren't doing that yet. Right. But the fact that he was like, okay, cool, knock this kid out, which theoretically could work on any Devil Fruit user, put them in a tank, and then immediately put them, anything above the knees, eventually their powers get sapped. Anyone who doesn't have any sort of excess power other than that is immediately going. The fact that we slow rolled it a little bit, I think, was great. And also, like Buggy's like entire air is really nice, and Kabaji, who didn't really get a fight or whatever, but we did get more Zoro hype and a little bit more Zoro interaction. Because like, again, we're playing more into Zoro and we're playing more into like, that kind of whole thing with him and him contrasting with Luffy. And he was like, you hunted me and my brother for like 7 days in a fucking swamp, whenever you could have just left us alone. We were like small fry. You didn't even get a big payout from it. Like, I think goes to show a big contrast between the crew, as well as, yeah, Nami likes them, I guess, a little bit, but she cut and run almost immediately and then got. The crew isn't fully formed yet, as they even say, not a crew, which I know something you push back a little bit. They were like, well, Zoro was kind of like there for Luffy day one. And it's like, well, first of all, in this medium, that's a little bit like, that's a little bit contradictory. And also, a lot of times whenever Zoro does that, it's not necessarily against Luffy, it's more against Nami. And I feel like people don't understand that line delivery more.
Right. No, that's true. And I think the way that they set up of, oh, we're not a crew yet. Oh, we're not a crew up. So when it gets that payoff of, oh, now we're a crew after what happens with Arlong, I think it'll be super, super special. Another pro in episode 2 for me has to be like Verse was talking about the interactions between the crew. I gotta say the moment with Zoro and Nami when I think that's Kibuji or whatever is throwing those knives, and the way that they at that moment we see, okay, they're gonna be a great crew. In episode 1, when they all three were fighting Axe Hand, it was great. But then them breaking out together and then breaking Luffy out, it's slow rolling of, oh, these guys are going to work really well together and they're a great crew. And I love that they're building anticipation for that.
Yeah, but we can also see that there's stuff missing though, because it's only a 3-man squad. Like
true. They have more to add, and we'll see that as we come. Anything else you got for pros for episode 2 before we get to cons for both episodes?
Man, Red Hair Pirates was banging out, boy.
Yeah,
my goodness, bro.
Dude, the Lucky Roo part, whenever he fires the pistol, whenever Shanks does a little pop.
I love that. I love that.
I love that they still gave him the first one of what should have been, chronologically the first kill.
But I thought it was so much cooler because it made it seem like Shanks is this badass, like bang, and his crew came out and did that. And then fighting with the chicken. Oh,
it shows how in sync they are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and Yasopp, oh my god,
doesn't he have to stand up,
bro? The ricochet shot, it made me think of Wanted curving the bullet,
bro.
It made me be like, oh, Usopp, you got a lot to live up to, brother.
it was absolutely crazy. The double shot, like everything was really good from like, because and then you get the sense of like Shanks did not fight.
No,
his crew did all that. So then they're also giving us a better stance of like, well, I mean, I don't think Shanks fights in the original source material anyway. But it's
we don't see Shanks fight until we see what Green Bull, man. Like, not y'all don't need to worry about that. Y'all can forget that what I just said. It doesn't matter.
You know what I'm saying? That's a little bit of 900.
If y'all are just live actions only, don't worry about what I just said. So
no, it's a literal bull. He was not talking about a person.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah, but I do like I was worried about how they for a while, to be honest. But I think everybody in his oh, am I back?
Yeah, you back. You've been good this whole time.
Yeah, I think everybody in his crew is actually very like well casted. I do want to come out and apologize. I know we was making jokes about Ben Beckman's.
No, stop! I'm wait for my con. That's my con. Wait, we gonna get to that.
I'm a fight Lynn over it.
Look, bro. No. Like, I know it's not the actor's fault. I'm not shaming the actor. I'm shaming the casting direction. We'll get to that. We'll get to that in cons. Because there's nothing anyone can say that will make me accept that. No, sir.
I don't have to say anything. I'm gonna hold up a mirror to the 3 hosts talking right now and be like, oh yeah, we could have been Ben Beckman.
Look,
yeah.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I've been bad. I'm saying that we'll get to it. Because I don't think that's a good thing. Because you can't say about us.
All right, hold on. There was a.
We'll talk about it. Just wait. We'll talk about the Ben Beckman thing. Just wait. We'll get to it. We're being positives right now. Give us some more pros. Episode 2.
Okay. I will say something that I don't think has been gotten a pop yet in this interview. In this review. The music is really good.
Yes.
It's fun. We're using a lot of One Piece themes.
Very piratey though at the same time, so Western audiences can connect.
Yeah, but like there's a little bit of a schmix going on, and also like not just that, but to go in with that also like the design of the different costumes I think has been very good. Because at first people were like, why is Luffy wearing a Hawaiian shirt whenever we saw the stills? And I'm like, because I don't know, man.
Look at Luffy the color pages too.
Also, yeah, exactly. It's all cover spread because I don't know, man. Luffy needs to own more than one shirt per arc.
Facts. Yeah, that's a big fact. And I like that to your point, they're using not just color spreads, but cover art and chapter things, and then extra designs too.
Well, I was gonna get to that because like not just Oda, like but you can tell like there are definitely people who are fans and have read the material high up there. And also, a bunch of different resources because One Piece fans are fucking insane. So there's a lot of stuff where you can just look it up and get a Google search for a lot of it. But like something that I wanted to say, and I'm going to say specifically about that fight scene with Ben Beckman. Don't worry, Len. But like something that like is a nice little treat is he doesn't actually fire the gun because we've yet to see Ben Beckman fire the gun in story. He bashes motherfuckers over the head in. Whereas if he had somebody who was just trying to adapt it, they'd be having him fire like they're like, oh, he's a rifle user. Bang, 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 bang. And here's the thing. I was prepared for him to fire the gun. I wouldn't have mind him fire a gun, but you can tell it obviously had to be intentional that he didn't. So clearly, people who watch and read are at the top there. And also the same thing with like Buggy and his characterization. We were like, some people argue it was a little rushed, but we got more with the Buggy, especially whenever he's talking to Luffy about Shanks and everything. We got stuff that we're just kind of somewhat touching on in the manga in there. And I'm not saying that was because, oh, they changed the script or whatever to it, but like they could feel the vibe, and especially with Oda guiding it, they're like, let's get a little bit more of this now instead of like 1,000 chapters from now. And I appreciate that.
No, yeah, I'm with you. I'm trying to think if I have any more pros from episode 1. Oh, I guess I'll say the stunt and the fight choreography. Fight choreography has been great. And I think episode 1, you really saw it with Zoro, Nami, and even Luffy in that Axe Hand Morgan main fight. You saw it in the second episode, but I think Zoro and Nami are really killing it when it comes to their fights. And I got to give the stunt choreography and the fight choreography major praise for that, as well as the cinematography and the lighting choices that they made, and how they know when to make things dark, know when to make things light. It is very much so One Piece. It doesn't feel like, oh, we're trying to get a gritty One Piece. It doesn't feel like, oh, we're trying to get a super kiddie One Piece. No. It's made for everyone. It's for adults, young adults, and kids of a certain age as well. And they do a very good job with the cinematography and the lighting choices of, okay, we're going to make this dark now because this is a dark moment. Oh, this is a light moment, and such and such. I got one more pro, and then we'll get to the cons unless y'all have many more.
Whenever just want to say on your point, whenever Buggy's defeated and it goes from being this dark, like dramatic room or whatever, and like this dark circus, and the whole thing lights up with a nice warm orange glow, because he's beat, and now it looks like, oh, this is a normal carnival.
We could also see that as foreshadowing the Nika. He brings the dawn, and like you said, it was a light, very orange, dawny color. I mean, I know that's me looking too deep into it, but they may think that. You never know with Oda and how they do things.
Nah, you can definitely see it, because once he eats the fruit and Shanks, like, you know what I'm saying, Shanks holds his arm, he stretches out, have that shot on the pier where child Luffy is looking up and the sun is right behind him.
Yep, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. So that's a big moment.
That symbolism is like in your face at the beginning.
Oh, also the fact that Alvida bashes him and the hat also slightly rubberizes. It's not just Luffy, because the hat takes no damage. And so one of my friends was like, well, why whenever Alvida like hit with big bat, it didn't get damage, but whenever Buggy just stabs it, it'd take damage. And I'm like, we have a theory on that, but you're not gonna know for like 1,000 chapters.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. I guess the final pro I'll have, and then we can get into cons. No, actually, you know what? Let's jump into cons, because I think we covered pretty much everything. Yeah. All right, my first con is I'll save Ben Beckman, but Luffy, man, and it's not Luffy. The acting, the way he does Luffy, I think he portrays Luffy very well. It's the fight scenes, man. It felt very much so like Luffy was the weakest one in that Axe Hand Morgan fight, and I wanted to see. I don't know, maybe that's budget and they're saving more of his stuff for later. But I thought you could just make him fight, and we can see certain things. Well, you can make him fight without the rubber, and it's okay. Like, you don't have to use the rubber every time. And hopefully we get to that. I like how he's a dodger and uses a lot of capoeira, because Oda did say he's from Brazil. I thought that part was on point, but it's the offensive that I had a problem.
Yeah, definitely. We might get. I hope we might get more of that.
That's all I'm asking for, is just a little more. So what y'all got? Any cons? Or am I the only person that's about to be con man? And to Jazz's point about cringy, I will say, I wasn't mad at some of the cringy things, because to me, this was less cringy than a CW show. I've watched The Flash. I've watched Legends of Tomorrow. I've watched Arrow. I've watched all that CW shit. And to me, those shows are cringy. This show just has, I don't think this show has very many cringy moments. I will say that. Like, I wasn't too cringe. I guess a con would be, oh, why didn't Garp ask Kobe about him punching Helmeppo? I thought that was just a little leap. That was an Are We Sure moment. Like, Kobe, you're kind of responsible for letting them go.
I mean, but then he gets grilled, because he's like, you're not an actual Marine. you're hanging out with the fight, like. And if anything, I think some people have kind of seen that as a con. I think that it makes sense though. Like,
that's my only one. Like, are we sure about Kobe at least?
Yeah, like the only thing, like, man, I said it before. I think Kobe right now is great for Kobe, and I'm not a fan of like the idea of recasting, especially because as you guys see, like the Kobe cover story and stuff is going to be like a part 2 to this whole fucking show so far, it seems. Like we're expanding on it, which some people would argue we're stepping on other arcs to do it. Like we're not getting as much of like the islands because we're cutting back to the Marines so often. Which I mean, I can kind of agree with on some level.
We gotta wait till they go to, like, I'm sorry, but the East Blue Islands, it needs to be spaced out how they did it. You can't, like, for some of these set pieces. I think when we get to season 2 with Alabasta, that's when people are going to be excited because we're going to do a deep dive of that island. Or same thing with the Giants, because that'll probably be season 2 as well with Dorian Broggy. We'll get a legitimate insight to those islands. I think in the beginning, it's more important to set up the crew and have the Barati as a main set piece and whatever Arlong Park is as a main set piece rather than Orange Town and Usopp's Island. I think it's more important once we get Baratier, Arlong, and then when we get in the future.
And let's not forget,
they gotta save money somewhere.
Yeah, and let's not forget, and we did have to save money because again, a lot of people are talking about pacing. Again, we dropped 2 whole episodes. You know what I mean? In part to make that stretching look good and to make some other stuff look good.
Yep. The buggy bombs and then Arlong and his crew.
Yeah, and we're saving a lot of it, as you said, like for Arlong Park. You know what I mean? Like every time a fisherman's even on screen, we're spending money. And I think that's whenever Luffy's going to be really allowed to wild out with the Zoro powers too.
Same, yeah. But that's why I'm saying, like, you don't have to, in the beginning of the Morgan stuff, you could have let him fight with just his fist. He could have just been a normal fighter and then use the stretching for the final attack. Like, I'm okay with like, I know some people be like, wow, Luffy stretches all the time, but you got to understand it's live action. You got to save the stretches for the right moments. And I think if you would have just let him normally fight and then final attack, axe, gum pistol, I think that would have been more effective than dodging the whole time and then doing, stretchy attack, doing like 2 attacks a fight. Because to me, it felt like, why would Zoro join this crew? He's stronger than the captain. Like, at least right in the opening episode, it definitely seemed like Zoro and Nami, like, why are you joining this guy? Y'all are low-key stronger than this guy.
And, well, you keep hyping Nami, and trust me, I love the Nami hype. But,
so you didn't like Nami with her bow staff kicking those Marines' ass?
She's great. I just don't know why you keep saying she was stronger than Luffy. Like
she was looking good.
She held her own. But I will say 2 things. One, that are cons. I do think I'm glad, I'm glad that Luffy got to see it live and in color. I don't know why we didn't have like a little blurb that said, hey, 5 days later, at least, because Zoro's only being on the cross for like a day, kind of like diminished partly. It also makes Luffy less of a savior for Zoro because remember, Zoro goes to the whole 30 days and he's starving, and then at the end, Helmeppo comes up and he's like, "Yeah, my dad's not gonna let you fucking go. We're gonna kill you tomorrow whenever you're weak." And then Zoro being like, "Oh, I am actually in danger because my hands are completely tied. I probably could have broke out of this on like day 10, but this is day 30."
So I got fucked. Yeah, no, that is a good point. I didn't even think about that. That's how engrossed I was into the story that I wasn't thinking back to, except obvious manga points.
They make it seem like Luffy was like doing more of a favor for Zoro than like saving his life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So now I will say, to counter that a little bit, they do tell Zoro, "Hey, your bounty hunter career is pretty much DOA. You can't do that shit anymore."
Yeah.
But I think if Zoro would have done things a little bit differently, I think he probably could have
gotten out of that. Exactly. He's being a dick, but that's Zoro's the character. Yeah.
That also explains partially why Zoro isn't like as warm immediately too.
Also explains why Morgan's not necessarily the best Marine as well, and it goes into his corruption.
Yeah,
you can't be a bounty hunter anymore in the way that he handled the Zoro situation.
The only other thing, though, Nami, your Master Capburglar, why the fuck did it take you so long to basic lock pick a normal ass lock?
Oh, I thought you were coming at her about the safe. I was like, damn, the safe was hard. She did a good job.
No, yeah, the safe was difficult. I'm talking about the little bird cage.
Oh, maybe she was maybe she was under duress. I'm gonna give my girl Nami some passes.
Hey, they nerfed
I know,
her,
but we're saying cons.
So than Luffy's ass not being able to throw a punch. But that was episode 1. It'll get better. But all right. Jazz, me and Versus is giving a lot of cons. Give us some cons, if you have any.
Yeah, my bad. My internet my internet's been wilding out. Hopefully I can get out this con. But okay. So one con I had watching the first episode, I didn't like how they made Luffy eat the fruit. I didn't like that interaction, mainly because like it's kind of like Luffy sneaks away and is like
steals it. Yeah.
drawn, and it's like and is drawn to the fruit, which, and I might be nitpicking right now because of stuff that we know, right? But it's like no. Actually, because even on the boat, Shanks was like, "Be careful with that root. It costs more than all our treasure combined," right? So it seems a little. To me, it seems weird that like they would just let that be out right there.
That is fair.
Because but he had to kick shit around for it, though. To be fair, he had to, like scrimmage for it.
But to his point, it's like he's sneaking and stealing it. Whereas in the manga, it's like it was out.
Like it was just out. Like because I feel like if it was like like, and maybe this is just like my bias showing, but I feel like Luffy eating the fruit in the midst of all the Higuma stuff makes it like seem a lot more like not wacky and zany, but it makes it seem like a lot more believable that like he really wasn't supposed to eat the fruit. But like when you have him like go out of his way and kind of like be drawn to it, I wasn't really. And again, it's probably because of stuff we know, but it's like it seems like the fruit drew him out more so than, oh, he was hungry and he just ate this random fruit he didn't know about.
I think they were trying to, because I do agree with you. I think that's more so of let's make this more appealing to Western audiences than this wacky kid just, eating something where it's giving a foreshadowing purpose almost.
And the reveal is still good. But let me ask you a question. Why the fuck does Maki know so much goddamn shit about devil fruits? Like, that was a little bit of a club.
Hey, maybe they're foreshadowing that her and Shanks are a couple, bro.
Nah, Shanks.
You are so desperate. You are so desperate from the bury a bone.
It's got to be Shanks pillow talk. That's what
I'm thinking,
Oh,
Shanks.
Yeah. Shanks is talking about devil fruits after he gets his nut. The guy who
it's just him and his girl. If Makino's been with him for a while, him and his girl talk. That's him and his girl, man. Stop being a Shanks hater. Stop it. And also, I gotta say, this was I didn't say it in a pro, but I loved how they foreshadowed Conqueror's Haki with the I thought the live action did a better job than the manga. Because I know the manga went to his eye, but in a live action, we saw his eye turn and like it showed he did something. Because to me,
I liked how it wasn't over the top.
It wasn't because they were trying to save the Haki reveal.
It was subtle.
It was subtle, but us knowing it showed it more so like, oh, okay, I know what he's doing here. And if you didn't know, it's like, oh, he's doing something. What is he doing? So fans will want to think the entire time until we get the reveal, if we even get to Marineford. Oh, this guy is doing. What did he do? Like something was done here.
You bring up a pretty like a con that actually was not like a major con, but disappointment. Luffy not getting a flashback scene, at least from what I've seen so far, of him leaving the village and punching the fuck out of the Lord.
The Lord of the Coast. Well, not unless
because that is supposed to show that Luffy is like a beast. Whenever he's
think it's
out.
I mean,
we've only watched two.
We only watched two.
Seen it yet.
Well, see, look at you spoiling.
Well, I'm just saying. Well, dude, you saw the flashbacks with Luffy. I know.
We may get it. You don't know. You've only watched 5. We may get it with 8. So this is a tentative con. And then I gotta say, Ben Beckman. Look, I understand you gotta look. Ben Beckman's a pretty guy in the manga. I want a pretty guy in the story. I'm sorry. That's This is the only time I'm gonna be a shamer, but that Ben Beckman in the manga looks as good as Shanks. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. I'm sorry that he wasn't the DILF everyone wanted. Damn, can a man not act and eat? Like, dude, Lynn, you're like, Lynn, what you're saying is if I ever get like a minor part as a background character in the movie, they'll be like,
that's not true. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the character called for something, and I don't think they executed what the character called for. I have no problem with bigger people being in movies and TV shows. Y'all go do y'all thing. I'm a big nigga. Shit, I'm chunky. So like, I have no problem with that. I'm just saying, if the character calls for something, like you're not casting me as Batman. as much as I would love it, you're not casting me as Batman. So you shouldn't cast that guy as Ben Beckman. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, for all the Ben Beckman scenes we're gonna get, I'm sure. Oh wait, Jazz, I have a quick question. Remember that time earlier we said it's nice how everyone is kind of dirty and not clean? Whatever,
Yeah.
never mind. Also, they just got out of a fight with fucking, someone. So maybe he didn't have a spa day. But, whatever.
He was
maybe he needed the wash and dry and his shit would look fire, but he just didn't have it.
That nigga was not a dilf.
I'm sorry this Ben Beckman doesn't have the L'Oreal dilf. My bad, man. I'll get to his age.
I'm just saying. All I'm saying is I would have loved Ben Beckman to be a little more, a little more sexy. That's all I'm saying. Just a little more. But
yeah, we saved it for Buggy.
Buggy.
I take that trade-off because look, people already simping for this Buggy. So imagine, right? So imagine, say this thing gets all the way to Impel Down. Buggy fans gonna be regardless.
They're gonna be hot, for sure. Any other cons we got?
Okay, all right. Hold on. I've been having this in my Duffy ever since I watched the last episode.
Your internet looks so clear now. I don't know what just happened, but
it's because my hater
your hater hockey.
You know what I'm saying? So look, I'm gonna just be honest, bro. I don't know how I feel about this whole Garp storyline. I'm not feeling it. Me personally, because I know they're trying to incorporate the cover story with Kobe and show us Kobe's journey alongside Luffy's, and I like the concept.
I don't. You don't like Garp's attitude. That's what,
bro,
it's not the story. It's how he is. Yeah.
And again, right, for somebody who hasn't watched One Piece, maybe this hits because you have this opposite force. You know what I'm saying? That's also behind the scenes, and I get it, but this feels, especially with what we know about Garp, this feels kind of, and again, not a 1-to-1, but this feels kind of opposite from what Garp would do.
Let me say this, because you're right. I think with Western live action, I think they're saving it. I think they're saving it to where it'll be it'll be a funny interaction. I think when Garp catches up with Luffy, I think we'll see a flip. And then we'll see Garp's true intentions. I think now it's we have to make him the antagonist of the thing because he's strong. He's the leader of the Marines. But when we get to Arlong and we see the true antagonist, I think we'll see Garp have a switch. I do truly believe.
Okay, I'll also point out though. Here's the thing though: they never once call him Monkey D. Garp. No, I'm just saying you're not supposed to know that that's Luffy's grandfather. You're not supposed to know anything about that. He's just older military guy who was at Roger's funeral and is credited as the man who captured Goldie Roger. And he's meant to be an antagonistic force, and he's clearly better than Morgan because, we get that settled. But he is kind of an asshole, not because he's a bad person, but because he truly believes in the Marine cause or whatever. And like you said, I think it is a setup to a punchline, and the punchline is,
I agree.
Luffy, get your ass down from that fucking tower or something,
But I feel like a pro and the con is that I do enjoy Bogart's character though, because he's supposed to be this kind of detective. I like Bogart's acting, but I will say I was talking to my friends about it last night, and I was like, okay, so obviously this is not me saying how they should have done the live action. I don't have the credit to say how I would like things to go, but me personally, I feel like the way you change the Garp stuff is that again, not a 1-to-1, but we know Smoker's in the East Blue, right?
You use Smoker instead?
If you use Smoker instead, it would make more, in my opinion, right? And let me
pitch because I feel what you're saying, and I think it works if you do Smoker. I do agree with that. The only thing is, I think Garp's gonna have a purpose in this season. Again, me and you have only seen 2 episodes, and I think if
like I said,
I think
my opinion might change as we go.
Also,
it's to give Cole. I think it's to put Kobe on this course and Luffy on a course. So as people are watching the show, we have the young Marine climbing through the ranks, and we have the young pirate. And I think you have to give Kobe a leader, and it can't be Smoker because it has to be someone that's strong enough to turn this guy into someone that's a credible Marine, or this person, excuse me, sorry for if I misgendered you, Kobe.
Well, yeah, but Kobe in the show is a guy, so I think that's fine. Like, as long as you're not talking about the actor.
Yeah, no, I was talking about the character. The character of Kobe, I think it has to be someone that can get him strong enough, and there's no one better than Garp. So I'm gonna say when we review episode 8, if nothing has changed, then I'm gonna say your con is 100% like, yeah, they fucked Garp character up.
But if it changes and I like it, I'm gonna come back on here and apologize.
Facts.
You know,
okay.
I'm gonna be. Hey, but look, let me get off one more con though.
Go ahead.
Why they have to make Mr. Seven a black man?
Well, I'm with you. I'm with you.
No, I'm dead. No, I'm dead serious.
I did actually point that out to my friends.
Serious.
I was like, "Oh no, it starts now."
I'm like, bro. And the funny thing is, like, I had my friend who's like, mind you, she's never watched One Piece before, but she knows, like, we be talking about like the Zoro being racist stuff, right? She called me after the first episode, like,
"Hey, I'm not doing that to my man."
She was like, "No, like, this man really racist." I was like, "Bro, look, it's intentional at this, because look, they could have made Mr. Seven was in an SBS. They could have made him any race, but they made him black."
Look, I'm a whole.
Wait, hold on, Jazz. Are you saying you're not pro representation? Come on, man.
You know, no, it's not representation. No, it's not pro representation.
It's damn.
I'm just saying, like, that guy got a job. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm hyped for that.
To see it. But
versus any other cons you got, because we got to get to the categories.
Okay.
Last one. So we'll finish up with pros and cons.
Yeah, as much as I like love the scene, especially whenever, like I said, we touch on like the Shanks stuff, I do think, like, on some level, I don't know. I think in some level it's a little bit clunky, just because there's certain things about the world building that you would think that they'd go back and fix since we have so much hindsight. How the fuck does Zoro, who, like, everyone's like, "Oh yeah, Roronoa Zoro, fucking good ass bounty hunter," and blah 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 blah. How does he not know who the fuck Shanks is?
Okay, I'll say it
Shanks is a Yonko by now, though.
But like, look, Zoro's not the type of guy that goes out trying to, look for people's. He's a
bounty hunter. Doesn't know who has the biggest bounty in the world.
Let me say this.
Even if he knows he can't take them,
he's probably the type of guy that just looks at the wanted signs, takes one, and then goes about his business. Maybe Shanks, because I didn't see Shanks on the East Blue thing.
Obviously, yeah, and they were going to give us that because they want to slow roll it for the audience.
But
Shanks is a pirate. You know, we like, even as someone who's fresh, you should probably know Shanks is at least Alvida level, right?
Don't do that. Don't do that.
No, dude. I'm saying, like, as someone who's fresh, you would know, like, if Shanks is anybody worth talking about.
I'm just shitting on you because of our past discussion.
Yes.
But no, that's fair. All right, let's get to our categories. We will do this, and honestly, I figured out way too late that we were supposed to do episode 1 and 2 together, so that's my bad on how the pros and cons were a little clunky, but next week we'll have it better, so don't you worry, and I'll have a better format. But we're gonna have these categories every time, and again, I'll tell them again: who won the episodes, plural, who lost the episodes, who was the in basketball, there's a starting lineup, so I'm explaining this for Verson. There's a starting lineup, and there's this thing called six-man of someone who comes off the bench and really kills it. And that's what a six-man is, someone who comes off the bench and does a good job. So when I say six-man award, it's someone who's not the main character, but that had a nice moment in the show that really killed it.
Or like a dark horse.
Dark horse. That's a better way to say it. So we'll have six-man. We have who won the episodes, who lost the episodes, best actor of the episodes, best fight scene of the episodes, and best scene overall of the episode. So let's start off with what was your best scene of the episode, Jazz? What you got?
Just of either episode or both?
You could do of either episode. Give us one from each. One from each, yeah.
Yes, best scene of the end of episode 1. Buggy's wanted poster and him smacking it away like he could actually like interact with it. I was like, yeah,
it's a great bit.
It's a great scene. I love that.
No, I'm with you. All right, what's your bet? Oh, that's from episode 2. What you got from episode 1?
Oh, I thought that was the end of episode 1.
Oh, well, you got one from episode 1. No, you're right. What's your episode 2?
Then The episode 2, the scene where Kabaji is talking to Zoro, and he's like, "What do you even see in that kid?" And it's like, I don't have to believe in
himself.
Yeah, he believes in himself. I was like, yes,
that was a good one.
Hell yeah. They're doing the whole loyalty thing real early, and I like that.
I love that. All right, your 2 best scenes, Verson.
All right, so for episode 1, the best scene that I have, Luffy and Kobe together on the boat, not whenever Kobe's rowing, but whenever they're docked in the town and they're looking at the stars and they're finally having heart, and Kobe's like actually talking about his dream. And like Luffy hits him, he's like, dude, just tell me. Like, I get it, I'm a pirate, but you are my friend. We just went through this thing, like, let's talk.
Yep.
And I think that whole scene is like the way that it is shot is beautiful, the way that it is like, the posing is beautiful. We see up the night sky where you see the endless stars and the fact that they're both about to start this massive journey. I think it's awesome, and I think it's nice because it's before we get all the rest of the crew, and it sets it off early, and from then on we get the other crew members the day after. But right now this is a Luffy Kobe moment together, and then they're kind of like our 2 shining stars for the future of both the Marines and the Pirates. I think that is a great moment. Seal the deal.
Hell yeah. Okay. Love that. My 2 best scenes.
Episode 2.
Oh, I thought you said, my bad. Flipping.
No.
Go ahead. Episode 2.
Episode 2 for me was, again, and in part Jazz kind of knows because I sent him a bit of art last night, but whenever it's like whenever there's the interrogation with Buggy and he's like, what's your fucking deal? What is with you? You're just some goofy kid or whatever, and then he's like, where'd you even get the straw hat from? What's all this about? And he's like, are you setting out because of family members? Are you trying to get revenge? Are you trying to do it for a lost love? Or was it someone you worship? And whenever he says it, you can feel like a little bit of venom and like it's caustic. And it's at that point, he's like, oh, you hung out with Shanks. Fuck you, kid. And at that point, the entire tenor of how he feels Luffy and how he looks at him completely changes, because he's like, oh, there's a Shanks connection here, and I hate him. And I think that's awesome. And I think that's a great payoff that'll eventually happen way, way down the road.
Also, to your point, when they use the terminology of worshipped, it's like, I don't think they filmed these scenes because the chapters we got pretty recently gave us that that hint, or not that hint, really, like the reason. So it gives you the impression that like they probably had a way for that scene to go, but I believe that Oda made them like kind of change the script to use that.
Yeah, dude, the lines he says, where he says, I don't like Shanks because he wanted to destroy my star. He wanted to, bury me. He didn't want me to get any of the spotlight. He took all the credit. Dude, that was some real shit. And that is completely contextualization that you do not get from that first scene at all. Because, at first he's all about the treasure mapper. He's the reason I had to eat the devil fruit and into my pirate career. No, this is a much more like jilted personal thing.
Even though his ass is at fault. Team Shanks.
I know, but I will say the way that they did his effects, I think, shows that if Buggy was serious and actually trained and actually had to be something, he could be a contender, because his abilities looked fucking great in this, and he used them very well.
They did look great, but
no, they look terrifying.
They look terrifying in live action. But I know manga Buggy. That nigga's a chump. But y'all know I'm anti-Buggy.
Don't talk about my King of the Pirates like that, man.
Yeah,
team live action Buggy, anti-manga Buggy.
One second, actually.
Oh yeah. You know the GOAT. Let me pull up.
Yeah, okay.
That man had to get the nose. Yes,
the
sir.
GOAT.
Yes,
Team Shanks, baby.
Look.
Shanks. Right. I'm gonna put my guy.
Just gotta let people know what time it is.
Team Shanks, baby. We're gonna hold him right here. The fucking GOAT. But I will say that was my favorite scene of episode 2. You stole my thunder, but I'm with you because you put yours up.
Well, it's just because it affects my voice. Nobody wants to hear that the whole interview.
Team Shanks. But I will say my favorite scene of episode 2. Well, damn, the Shanks Conquerors hockey is in there. I'm gonna do 2 scenes from episode 2 because, well, actually, I'm gonna just say, because Verson said that one, I won't choose that one, but that was one for me because it showed, wait, y'all were on the same crew. Whose crew are y'all on? It was very important, and I loved it. And to your point of how things switched, the tension, it showed, oh shit, this matters. pay attention, people, because if you don't, you're gonna miss something. So, but I'll say the Conquerors Hockey with Shanks in episode 2, I thought that was great. Seeing the eye of the actual beast change, so it shows that he did something. The guy just wasn't scared. That was huge, showing the Conquerors Hockey. But in episode 1, I gotta go with the moment where Nami convinces Axe Hand Morgan that she was a Marine and gets Luffy in there, and Luffy's like, yeah, she's the best at being the worst. Just his dumbass not knowing what to do in those situations. I thought Nami handled that beautifully. Team Nami, man.
He's so amazed at someone being able to lie because he just can't lie for absolute shit. Like that anyone who can do a passable lie is like, he's like astounded. And yeah, I think people don't give enough credit, especially early Luffy, but Luffy in general. He's his crewmates' biggest fans.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Awesome. That's a big fact. And now
also the losing the arm scene with the Conquerors Hockey scene, they nailed every line of it. Especially because keep in mind, that's Anunnaki doing it. That's a child actor who has killed it. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like all the flashback scenes with the kids.
Gotta say the kid did well. Because I don't like child actors, and that kid did a good job. Gotta give it to him.
Which I hope. I'm praying that child Sanji sells the backstory, man. I hope.
Oh well, we not getting. Oh, you talking about the Zeff backstory? No,
I'm talking about the Zeff backstory. So
I'm about to say,
I have high.
We ain't getting Sanji story for a minute
too.
Yeah, I know.
All right, what's your worst scene of the if y'all have a worst scene? If not, we can just move past it. No, yeah, we done con. No need to do a worst scene. We're making this positive. Okay, so we did best scene, best fight scene. I'll start this time, and then we'll go around. My best fight scene was Zoro in the bar with Nami and then Luffy, when Luffy's in amazement of Zoro not even picking up his blade and whooping every Marine in there's ass, and then Nami stealing the coat. I thought that was an incredible fight scene, and it's a reason why I think Luffy can fight without the stretching. If you do Zoro fighting without the sword, showing he's a martial artist, because in the manga we never really get Zoro with them hands. It's him with the sword. So this showed that not only is it a swordsman, he's a martial artist. Well, Luffy should get that without his stretching. So that was my best fight scene. Since we're going to versing your best fight scene.
Personally, I actually, because I don't think people are going to give a lot of credit, I actually like how, the Alvida fight scene shows off what a fucking freak Luffy is.
Oh, okay.
Especially because people who don't even know One Piece, like his whole thing is he stretches. It's really good, and you frame it in a very good way to show even Alvida and these seasoned pirates who should know a little, maybe something about devil fruits. It shows that devil fruits are not common, and Luffy is a freak, and like a very real reaction, the same reaction that I think a lot of audience members have, which is, this little kid or whatever has some weird fucked up power. He's a weird zany rubber man, and he has no selling literally all of my hits. And I think that's awesome.
Yep, no, that was a good fight scene. It really gave Luffy some credit in the beginning of all right, he took out Alvida and his crew. Alvida's crew was like, yo. All right, Jazz, your best fight scene.
I gotta go with the red hair pirates versus the mountain bandits.
Hey, okay.
But obviously there's some bias in there because I love gunslinging action. I think the one thing that sold me on it, like obviously like the melee fighting was good, but like even like how you said earlier with how Yasopp ricocheted the bullet off,
that was insane.
The way that they shot it was, because they could have literally just put the camera back and then just showed something ricocheting. No, like the way that like the camera kind of like slanted when the bullet ricocheted made it feel like you were following the trajectory of the bullet. And I think that's what sold it for me. Like it was short. It was a short fight scene, but it was really good.
Yeah, no,
as well it should be, by the way. They did it short because guess what? It was a fucking short one in from the jump, because these are seasoned pirates,
right?
All right, let's get who won the episodes, episode 1 and 2. Jazz, you start us off. Who was the best? You could either do actor or character.
I'll say actor for sure. Morgan Davies.
Okay.
Definitely. Even though like it seems like I might be joking when I say that the way that they play Kobe is like perfect. No, like that's literally who Kobe is. Like he is a dork. He is very he's very timid, and the way that the actor does his bodily movements. The one scene I really like the most, because it does seem like such a Kobe thing to do. So Kobe, when the fight is happening in the bar scene, it's really fast, but like once they start fighting, Kobe immediately ducks under the table. And I'm like, the way that they did it was perfect though. And even when Garp is talking to Kobe like in the room, you know, you see Kobe like shivering and like being anxious. And I feel like the actor portrayed Kobe's character very well.
Hell yeah. Okay, give us your one from episode 2. Who won the episode?
For episode 2, you already know who it is, man. Jeff Ward, my boy. Jeff Ward, you brought Buggy to life. And I loved it because, and again, that kind of goes into my pro that I said earlier, but I like that Buggy was menacing when we saw him, but this one makes him a lot more like terrifying. Like it makes him like a lot more of like an antagonistic force. Not to say that he wasn't in the original source material, but the terrifying, like the way that the circus is run, the way that when he walks in, like there's not Richie. Is Richie the lion tamer? No, Richie's the lion. Okay, yeah. So Richie's holding up the sign that says laugh, and all these people are being chained to do this. Like you get like it's obviously it's like a fun overtone, right? But you get this like really serious and like dark undertone from it all, even though it's like right in your face. And I think the way that he portrays Buggy to be like, oh, like he took over this town because the town's already destroyed, right? So this is like what we would get if we got to Orange Town and the town was already destroyed. You know what I'm saying?
Sorry for the record. Richie is a lion. It was emoji. I knew the second I agreed with it, it was wrong.
Okay, yeah, my bad. I always get their names mixed up.
Yeah. By the way, very funny little joke that they pointed at because he was like, and they're supposed to be a lion.
Yes,
but they weren't going to spin the CGI on the
lion.
no,
hell no. They could not do.
No.
They could not
so
do
it's
that.
funny that they pointed out. They were like, yes, the lion's supposed to be here.
That's going to be something that with season 2, I wonder if we're going to get more of the creatures, but we'll talk about that another time. All right, Verson, who won for you both episodes?
Honestly, no one's gonna give him. Well, some people may already give him flowers. Helmeppo's actor is such a fucking ham. Like it is just such a little weird dude. We didn't say it at all, but the naked mall ninja sword fighting scene where he has the fucking Wado Ichimonji, a ranked
Jazz
blade
mentioned that. Jazz said that was
I know in the Discord, but
no, he said it here. That was right before you.
I said it was a con, but that's really because it caught me off guard. I genuinely don't know who greenlit that scene. We might need to talk, but
no, we don't need to. You know what? We do need to talk to tell him to do it more because that scene was hilarious.
Like, no, we don't need no more how naked Helmeppo ass.
It's glass.
I'm
anyway, dude.
Anyway, I was say who you got for episode 2?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Episode 2. Honestly, yeah, like unfortunately, like because it's like so condensed, like I'm just gonna have to do a repeat and say, you know,
Buggy, that's fair.
Yeah,
the Buggy supremacy, baby.
I'm not mad at that. All right, for me, who won episode 1? I'm gonna do, since we're doing best actor, I'm not gonna give it to an actor this week, but I may in other weeks. Who won the episode? Actually, no, I'm gonna do an actor for this. Who won episode 1? Mackenyu. I think Mackenyu's a star. I think episode 1 solidified that. At least now he is my favorite person in the show. I think he's the best in the show right now. And I think I heard an interview of it because people were asking the cast, what's your favorite anime? What's your favorite? And they didn't ask him. He was like, wait, give me that mic. I'm Japanese. I grew up with this stuff. I love it. And I think the fact that he's Japanese, grew up with One Piece, it being his favorite anime and manga besides Hunter x Hunter, I think he knows better than anyone besides the showrunner, Matt James, who read One Piece as well. And that's why they chose him. And I'm glad they chose him because he's an actual fan and you can tell. And Oda, I think Mackenyu's the person that knows One Piece the best on everyone working on this. Besides Matt James and Oda, it's Mackenyu. And you can tell. So he won episode 1 from me. The person that won episode 2, my boy. Shanks with his crew saving Luffy using Conqueror's Haki. I'm giving it to Shanks. All right, let's we've done who won, we've done best scene, best fight scene. Now let's get to best actor. And best actor for me, this is we'll do of 1 and 2 together. It doesn't have to be. Oh, actually, no, we'll keep the trend going. Best actor for me of episode 1, Mac and You, and then best actor for episode 2. I'm gonna get his name so we don't mess it up. No. We did who won. It's 2 separate things.
Oh,
you can say an actor won episode 1. You can say an actor won the episode, or you can say a character won. It doesn't matter either one. But this is specifically best actor. So best actor for me, episode 1, Mac and You. Best actor of episode 2, Jeff Ward, Buggy. I got to give him props because he killed it. All right, Verson, give me your best actors.
Okay, so this character's in both, so it's a little bit difficult, but I think actually Child Luffy killed it.
Okay, nice.
And I'm just gonna say that because I think it's important to recognize young talent whenever you see it, especially whenever they're given difficult roles.
Especially because child actors usually are kind of not that
you
great.
Know. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So but so far every child scene that I've seen is really, really good. But I'm gonna say Garp.
Okay. I think use him for episode 1 and then use the child for episode 2.
Yeah, that's fine. You know, whichever one I got a slot it to do it. But yeah, I think Garp, I think his scenes are really, really good. I think he's doing really, really well with a fan favorite character. I do agree that there's some things that are kind of inconsistent, but it's to fulfill a narrative purpose. And I think once we have, the payoff, I think it's gonna be like, okay, by the way, this is how he really actually acts.
Mm-hmm. All right, Jazz, who are your best actors of each episode?
I ain't gonna lie. In episode 1, I'm gonna butcher her name, and I'm so sorry.
Well, who is it?
Ilia, you're like.
What did she do?
Alvida's actor. I think Alvida's actor did did her arrogance very well. She walked around like kind of pompous, and even
Ilia Isorales. Yeah, actually no. Ilia Paulino, because Ilia Reyes is her middle name, so Ilia Paulino.
Okay, I just didn't want to butcher that, so I was like, no, I didn't.
Yeah, Ilia Paulino. So there you go. Shout out to her.
She did a real good job, especially for I don't want to say like Alvida's like a character that you just write off, but like she basically is like the first like opposing force that like the main cast or the main character in this sense meet. And I like that we get a little more of her arrogance. Like she's like, oh yeah, so Roronoa Zoro, he was looking for me, right? And then the dude's like, no, he wasn't. And the way that she's just like, oh, and then kills him. And I'm like,
yeah,
okay. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and you get a nice blood splatter, and she's like, by the way, Kobe, clean this shit up.
Who you got for episode 2?
For episode 2, man, I ain't gonna lie, I got Emily Rudd.
Okay, nice for Nami. I like that.
I think
Hell
I think the scene that really I mean there's a lot of scenes that sell it to me, but like I think the scene that really does sell it to me is when she dips on Zoro and Luffy, right? And she goes out and she sees the town is destroyed, and then like
comes back.
It kind of like it kind of like the camera kind of does that like a little bit of a zoom in, kind of like like when somebody's like about to like have a or like what like media would portray as like a panic attack, right? So it's like then you get the sense it's like, oh, if you like obviously if you haven't watched One Piece, it's like oh, like what does this mean, like where is this coming from, right? And I feel like she sells that in the sassy part of Nami at this part too. So Emily Rudd's actually been doing a real great job. Like
no, she killed it. All right, so we've done pretty much all the categories except 6-man of the TV show. So I'll start this one off just so we can get clarification. So the starters, who I figure are the main characters, and we can debate this. The starters for episode 1 to me are Luffy, Zoro, Nami, Axe-Hand Morgan, and Kobe. Would we agree with that? I think those are the most important people of episode 1. Okay, so now you pick a dark horse actor who you thought did the best. I'm gonna go with as my 6-man of episode 1. I think Verson's right. I'm gonna give some love to Helmeppo. I think Helmeppo's actor did a great job. I'll get his name, but that'll be my 6-man of episode 1 is Helmeppo. All right, Verson, who's your 6-man of episode
1? Honestly, yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with Helmeppo. Like, because he got the assignment that it's a comedic character, it's a fun character, while also
Aiden
just being
Scott.
like, Yeah, well, just being also just callously cruel.
Mhm.
You know, like I think he really did the whole his opening scene, and the fact that he's bossing everyone around even though everyone knows he's weak as shit. Um and one thing that I will also say, whenever we see the scene of Axan Morgan inside of his office, you see all of his little portraits or whatever, and it just has little baby Helmeppo. So even though as a dad he hates Helmeppo, like this kid is 100% so nepo baby,
Yeah,
like it's
he is.
crazy. Which I feel
I'm
like we didn't sell enough in the anime, honestly.
Yeah.
All right, who you got as your sixth man of episode 1, Jazz?
I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna have to go the same. Like,
All right,
I think,
nice.
yeah,
Okay.
oh yeah.
All right,
He
perfect.
just, yeah, it's just he did his thing, man. Snobby Helmeppo. Obviously, I think this Helmeppo was way snobbier, actually.
He kind of was. So, all right, episode 2, the starters. Again, Luffy, Zoro, Nami. But this time, I think Buggy's a starter, and I think Garp's a starter. Or would y'all say Shanks?
I would say Shanks because we get
All right.
I'd say Shanks.
We can
I'd
say
say
Shanks.
some of the Luffy backstory.
All right, and then I'm gonna give Lucky Roo's actor sixth man of the episode. Let me pull that up. What his name is, and then we'll keep it going. Who's your sixth man of episode 2, Verson?
Okay, I'm gonna say this, but with one caveat. I think Makino actress really did well. Except I
Real
think
quick, I got his name, Natalana Morgan Kutuku. So
nice.
all right, Natalana Morgan Kutu. That's Kutu.
I really like Makino's actress and how she did it. I don't necessarily super care for the exposition dump because it's weird from her. The only caveat is again on things where I, as a personal fan, kind of wish they would have injected a little bit more juice to scenes that I think should have been like clarified forever ago. I really would have liked it if they would at least said the name to Dawn.
And
maybe
her
they
name
will.
is Kathleen Steffens.
If we have another flashback of Luffy whenever he's a kid, maybe they'll at least say Dawn's name. But part of me is like, come on, man.
Show some love to
the Dawn. The actual mom.
Yeah.
Because I feel like people get a little bit weird when it comes to Makino and also Shanks, and they think that they were like more there than they were. And I'm not saying Makino wasn't, but like
it was
Dawn was the actual mom.
All right, who you got? Sixth man of episode 2, Jazz. We got Makino, we got Lucky Roo. Who you got?
Makino, Lucky Roo. Let's see. I want to say the guy who played Kabaji.
Okay.
Because it encapsulates like how dumb Buggy's crew is.
That's
because even though Buggy seems like Buggy seems like he's calculated, the rest of his crew's like they're idiots, right?
Dude, if he had just gutted Zoro, it would have been a wrap.
If he just didn't spin the wheel and just like aimed right at Zoro's head, well.
Sorry, that guy's an idiot.
Anime logic. But
y'all want my man Zoro to die in episode 1? Y'all crazy, boy.
Well, I'm saying for their benefit. I'm not saying for mine.
It would have been episode 2. 2 episodes.
Y'all are crazy, man. Y'all really don't be liking Zoro.
No, I love him, and I think he's great. It's just like why do the whole dumb little spinny thing? Because if somebody murdered my brother, who's as again part of the manga melee, guess what? I would have shanked him. I would have got him. Not
his name is Finn Regrok. I'm just gonna call him Finn because I can't. That's a Russian name. I'm not good.
Also the way he rode in on the unicycle and then just put it on
that was awesome, dude.
Funny as hell.
It felt like a shit post
oh
about.
My gosh, this guy.
It felt like a saucy shit post. Like in Scary Movie, whenever they have like, I think it's like 4 or something. Whenever they have like the little doll from
yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly.
Yeah, and he comes in on a stupid little tricycle. It felt literally like that. And I was like, this is awesome.
All right, so we've done all our categories. Let's get our number ranking for episode 1 and 2.
Yeah.
All right, so we rank it out of 10. So for episode 1, I'm gonna go a solid 8.4. Solid 8.4. I thought it was good, a good episode of TV. And for episode 2, I'm gonna go a solid 8. Jazz, what you got?
So for episode 1, I got a solid 7.
Okay, nice.
But for episode 2, it's an 8.
All right, so 7 plus 8, 4. Okay, hold on. 7 plus 8.4. All right, Verse, what you got for episode 1?
Episode 1. I'm gonna say this again just because earlier I said I love this like as a dual pack, and I'm gonna hold on to my 10, and this whole show might not even get a 10, but I think as an intro, 1 I'm gonna put it at an 8, and then episode 2, just because I am so enthralled with Buggy, honestly, and I really liked that whole bit, I'm gonna give it 8.7.
All right, so episode 1 is a 7.8, a total score for us. Jazz did 8, Verse did 8.7. Episode 2, I'm gonna go 7.9 because I liked episode 1 more than episode 2. I'm gonna go 7.9, so 8 plus 7.9.
Also, while we're here, I forgot a pro that
So
I was thinking about.
episode 2 got 8.2. So episode 1 is a 7.8. Episode 2 is 8.8. Go ahead, Jazz, real quick.
My bad. A pro that I was thinking about, and I just forgot to say it earlier. I like that everybody in the show has different accents to show how big the world is. I like that everybody doesn't sound the same. I really like that.
That is dope. Hell yeah. So we will be back next week with episode 3 and 4. Jazz, tell the people they can follow you on social media.
You can follow me on Instagram, Jazzy Boy. You can follow me on Twitter, Real Jazzy Boy. You can follow me on TikTok, Cornell D God.
Y'all make sure y'all go follow him first and tell the people they can follow you on social media.
Okay, hey there. If you want to follow me, you can follow me at Verse in the Vassal, or you can search up my actual name, Josh Tusclair. It'll probably get you there either way. I'm also on Instagram, although I don't use it as much. I have a small event that we're throwing over in Sulphur, Louisiana on the 13th. It's about hosted by the Property Rights and Pipeline Center. We're letting people know that there's some pipelines coming through. If they don't want to sell their land, they don't have to, or if they do want to make sure we get them the most money that they can. And also after that, just going to go ahead and drop it now. About a week after that, I'm going to be going to New York City for the New York City Climate March and for different direct action events. So if you want to like chat it up in person, talk One Piece, or talk about the climate struggle, you have a good shot of actually seeing me there. And I may or may not be in DC 2 days after that for the FERC hearings. But
hey, my man's out here making a difference in the world. You love to see it. Make sure y'all go follow Verse and Jazz. You can follow me at LimBLBT. Follow Bros Who Think, got Bros Who Think. A lot of content out from Bros Who Binge.
Follow Manga Melee.
Follow Manga Melee as well. We got Bros Who Binge out. We got Manga Melee out. We got Bros Who Think, as well as the One Piece manga review and much more. So check out all of that. But until next week, y'all have a good one and peace.